Hi everyone, and welcome to tutorial number 4 of the Learn Python for Beginners course. Today, we're going to be learning about the random module or import random. First, create a new project or file as I have done here. To start, type in import random. Today, we're going to be creating a guessing game using import random. If you're asking how import random can help in a guessing game, it is because you usually use import random when you want a computer to, say, pick a random number in a given range or pick an element from a list or etc., which is related to a guessing game. So type in import random, click enter, and set the variable num to be equal to random.randint, and in parentheses, brackets, give it two numbers. These two numbers are going to be the range of which the computer will be choosing the number from. What this program does, what these two lines do, is you're basically telling the computer to choose a random number between the two parameters that you gave, 1 and 10. So you're telling the computer to choose a random number between 1 and 10. Now the next step is to ask the user to give their answer. And we can use this by using something that we learned in the earlier episode, which is called the input. And as you know, if you watch my earlier episode, inputs always start with a name. We're going to name this one guess because that is what it is. You are asking for the user's guess. Guess is equal to input, brackets, quotes, double quotes, single quotes, it doesn't really matter. So double quotes, pick a number between 1 and 10. So pick a number between 1 and 10. Now, we need to compare the user's guess with the random number that the computer picked. We can do this by using the if statement. How are we going to use the if statement? We're going to use the if statement to compare the user's guess and the random number that the computer chose by saying if the user's guess, as I told you in the earlier video about input, when you give a user input like line 3, the name of the input is the variable, and you're setting whatever the answer is to this question, whatever the answer is to the variable. So what you're doing here is you're setting the user's guess to guess. So guess is a variable, and the variable's value is whatever the user chooses, whatever the user guesses. So if guess, which is basically the answer to this question, which is basically the user's guess, if guess is equal to num. So num, because we set the variable num to this line of code means that you are setting the variable num so that num's value is the random number that the computer picked for us. So if guess is equal to num, you can basically find out that this means if the user's guess is equal to the number that the computer chose. So if guess is equal to num, end it with colon as always. If guess is equal to num, what do you want it to do? You want it to print you are correct. Great guess. Else, and again, else ends in a colon, print nice try, or I'll just put good try, but the answer is plus none. So if the user's guess is equal to the number, if you are correct, basically it prints out you are correct, great guess, and that's the end of the game. Else, so if your guess is wrong, incorrect, then it prints out good try, but the answer is, and then after this it prints out whatever the real number was. You will have to add a space here, just so a space is added between this and the number. And that is how easy it is to make a guessing game in Python. We're going to save it and test it. We're going to save this as tutorial 4. We're going to save it and we're going to run it. As you can see, it asks you for a number between 1 and 10 if you type in 3. So right now you're at this line of code where the computer asks you pick a number between 1 and 10. Once you enter your answer, once you enter your guess, whatever you think the number is, the computer goes to line number 4. It checks if your guess is equal to the number that it chose. If it was equal to the number that the computer chose, then it says you are correct. Else, so if your guess is incorrect, it prints out good try, but the answer is and whatever the number was. So 3. And this is an error. And the error is because, so this is something I wanted to point out to you. The error is because, so it doesn't like that we put num here. Because in Python, they want everything to be the same data type, everything to be of the same data type. They want the integers to be with the integers, the strings to be with the strings. And what we did here is we kind of broke that rule because this is a string and this is an integer, and Python doesn't like that. So we need to change num to a string, and this is how you do it. So somewhere after this line of code, you can do it anywhere, but just make sure that you type this line of code, whatever I'm going to show you, after this line of code. Just make sure that whatever I show you right now is typed after this, not before. So you have to type num is equal to str num. So what this line does is that it changes the integer num to a string. This line is how you change any variable to a different data type. You can change this to float. This changes the number from an integer to a float. You can change it to an int. You can change it to a boolean. But for now, we need to change it to a string because we need to follow the rules by having strings with strings. So we'll make this a string. And again, I'm going to say this again. Make sure that this line of code is after this line of code. So again, we're going to save it and run it. So it says pick a number between 1 and 10. You type in 5. And it says good try, but the answer is 2. So we can try this again. Pick a number between 1 and 10. We'll pick 2, which was the answer last time. So as you know, when you type in 2, currently it is at this line of code. Then it goes to line number 4 of code, which changes the variable num to a string. And when you click enter, when you verify your guess, I guess you could say, it goes to the if statement and it checks if your guess is equal to the number that the computer chose. If it is, it prints you are correct, great guess, as I said before. But the else, so if you're incorrect, it prints good try, but the answer is, and then after this, it prints out what the real number was. So we click enter and it says good try, but the answer was 1. And this is how you create a simple guessing game in Python. It is very simple, very short, but it is still very fun to play, and it's something really good that it's a really good game, and it's really simple. And that is the end of tutorial number 4 for Python, Learn Python for Beginners course. If you liked the video, please subscribe to my channel. If you learned a lot, please like the video and please subscribe to my channel. I'll be back soon with tutorial and episode number 5 of this course very soon.